Hello and welcome. My name is Ash, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Ash Knows Travel, where we go over everything travel. And tonight we have a very exciting training. We are going to do all weddings all week long, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5 p.m. PST. Right here, we are having wedding training. And tonight we are doing wedding planning as an advisor. Let's go ahead and dive in while I'm removing all this fancy stuff off your screen. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video and also make sure that you subscribed and turned on your notifications for my channel so that you never miss when I'm going live. So, like I said, wedding planning as an advisor. This is one of the greatest things that you can really kind of branch out to when it comes to an advisor. There are so many different opportunities inside weddings, whether you're planning the wedding directly or even just the bachelorette parties, the engagement parties, the event with the whole entire family, just rooms, whatever you're getting into here. There is great amounts of money that can be made. So it is one of my favorite things to train on and also book. Not gonna lie. Let's dive in, shall we? A little bit of an overview for tonight's training. We're going to talk about roles, why your client should hire a wedding travel advisor, because if you don't understand why, you're not going to be able to book it. So we need to talk about that. Common questions from the couple to be prepared for, information needed for new clients, the whole process for destination weddings, additional pre-qualifying questions, services that you can offer as an advisor, booking process and tips, and even how to get started as a wedding travel advisor, start marketing, getting out there. Let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? First off, your role as an advisor in a wedding planning setting. You can first become the researcher in finding the best resort, best cruise, best whatever they are looking for that will require them to either travel to, that'll be helpful, right? So you can book the rooms. But whatever they're looking for, you can technically get paid to be a researcher for just that because you are advising them on travel or advising them on weddings. You can also be the person that books it, right? Helping them book the wedding packages at the resorts or the cruise itself, helping them book the rooms, the transfers, the airfare. You can book anything inside of that. Maybe they want to do, fancy excursions with their family. You can take care of that. Maybe they want to do some tours while they're going international. Anything that's included inside travel that can be a part of a wedding, technically, guys, we can make money off of. We can also go as a liaison for the couple. We are also prepared to say, hey, this is what you can do, what you can't do. This is how it works, right? Because when we're learning, we become experts in it. In that, we can be experts in requirements, wedding packages, venues, ceremonies. There's a lot of different things that we can go into as a travel advisor when it comes to weddings. And I'm going to cover all of those now. So, why should your clients hire a wedding travel advisor? First, we're going to be really knowledgeable about wedding destinations. I can tell you, I started learning about wedding destinations after I came back from my first convention in 2023. I was determined to really be an amazing wedding travel advisor. So I dove in. I studied all of the resorts I can book at. I can make sure I registered direct with them. I did certifications. We have a lot of them in Agent Universe. We have them with different resorts as well, just like Sandals. There's all different types of resorts that have their own wedding program that you could partake in. I really just sat down and learned all about wedding destinations, and you guys can do that too. The information is provided to us within our vendors. You just have to stop and look at it, honestly. Therefore, as a wedding travel advisor, we can propose ourselves as knowledgeable, right? We're also going to have access to exclusive information. There is a lot that goes into wedding planning, especially as an advisor. We still play a big, major role in that. And we're going to have all of those certain special details that they wouldn't know about. And I'm going to share a lot of them with you in the next 3 days that you would need to know as an advisor. We also are an extra set of hands for planning. We know all of the steps. You guys are going to learn the process. And you're going to be able to say, hey, don't forget, we need to do this. Hey, don't forget, we need to set this up too. And then we're going to save a lot of time and a lot of stress because we're going to take the majority of the planning off their hands. And we're also going to help the couple save by finding deals. There are a lot of wedding packages that are offered between resorts and cruises, and you guys can really save your clients a lot of money by helping them find the perfect package that fits their needs. Common questions for the couple to be prepared for. Now, you guys feel free to screenshot any of these slides as I'm going through it throughout the week, okay? because it's a lot. Wedding advising is a lot, but it's honestly one of the most successful things that you can do as an advisor. So I don't blame you for wanting to learn. Just get ready to take some notes. So common questions that you need to get them prepared for. One, what are the advantages of having a destination wedding? Honestly, for us planning a destination wedding, it can be a lot cheaper, smaller, and less planning and stress. A lot of people don't understand that when they're doing a destination wedding, as many people as you want to invite, they're probably not going to show up. That's okay, because then you know who your real people are, right? I'm just kidding. No, that's real right there. But you're going to be able to go in and basically have that wedding, like it's based off of how many people are attending. So it's a good thing that not as many people are attending, because you don't want to have to pay all that extra money when it comes to the budget. The more people attend, the more people you have to feed, which means the higher package that you will need. Wow, that rhymed. And it's honestly true. A destination wedding can actually save the couple quite a bit, and they honestly get to have an entire vacation while they're there. You can even go in and put their honeymoon in there. A lot of resorts will let you test drive, where they can go and basically experience it, and then a part of that will come off in their final budget, or they can have the part where they set up the honeymoon immediately after. Sometimes you can have sister resorts, and you can have it to where the wedding is at one resort, they're staying at the other, but maybe they might go vacation for their honeymoon and separate from the family. There's a lot of different settings in here, but it can all be done by a destination wedding. You can't do that locally. So it's a great advantage for couples, especially because we can plan it. Where should I go? They're going to come to us with this one because they don't know. A lot of people don't know anything about destination weddings. The first thing that I'm going to suggest is find out their locations, find out their vibe, find out if they have any restrictions or requirements. We'll get into that too. How do I actually get married? A lot of people don't know that there's a lot of requirements for destination weddings, or just weddings in general. When it comes to certain locations, certain states, they all have certain requirements. So we can actually look that up for them. If they're on a cruise, they have requirements. A lot of them only do symbolic weddings, which means they need to get married before, and then they're just going to do the little ceremony while they're there. And then how much is your fee? A lot of people automatically assume that we charge fees. Do you have to charge a fee? No, but I'm going to tell you, when you're planning a wedding, don't expect to get paid up front unless you charge a fee. So you're going to be planning for a lot. People take about 9 to 12 months to plan a regular wedding, and 12 to 18 months for a lot of destination weddings, because these dates sell out fast. So they have to plan in advance. So that could mean that you're not getting paid for over a year until that wedding's happening. If that's the case and you feel like you're doing a lot of hard work and you're not getting paid for it, go ahead and put the fee in. I want to say the first wedding that I did was a cruise wedding, and it didn't require me much work. I didn't charge a fee for that. I just got paid to book her room, because they don't even pay for the wedding itself. I just got her in contact with Royal Caribbean. I didn't do anything special. I was just like, here's the number. Here, call them, set it up. But first we had to book the room. So I booked the room in the cabin. I called to make sure that the wedding date was open. I called Royal Caribbean, and then I sent them that way. I booked the room. We were good to go. I didn't have to do anything else other than that. So is it always going to be that case? No, absolutely not. I've also done a Jamaican wedding. When I did that one was over 18 months. Best believe I charged a fee up front. And honestly, I charged $250. Now, is that the normal fee? No, most people charge about $500. But honestly, it didn't take me much work. And I got a lot of commission from the rooms because it was a group setting. Fine with me. Sounds great. As long as you are finding some way to get paid, make sure you're getting paid is what my advice is. I'm not going to tell you what to charge, because I want you to charge what your worth is, what your value is. If that's what you feel like your time is worth, then you charge that. Okay. The right client won't mind. I'm going to be honest. The right client will see your value and they won't mind. But don't get twisted in the fact that, oh, I'm going to make money later. Yes, you might make money later, but there's also a possibility of cancellation. So always keep that in mind. Now, when you're charging your fee, make sure, and they're going to ask this, is it included in your budget or is it additional to what you're charging? That's important. Is it required up front? Keep that in mind. They're going to ask that too. So you might as well go ahead and get that set up and prepared. Another thing, when you're including it in your budget, make sure you put in there what all you're including. Like if there's a resort, if the stays included, the flights or whatever, it's just the wedding package, what's included in the wedding package. They're going to ask for things like that. So make sure you're prepared to have all the details for the wedding. It's not like a booking. It's a lot bigger than a booking. Information needed for new clients. Screenshot this one. Now, This is not normal for like bookings. In a booking setting, we just get the names, get a couple of dates, and we start searching. There's a lot more needed for information when it comes to destination wedding. First of all, you want to get the couple's full names, and I'm going to explain why. When you're making presentations, you want to put their full names on it. When you're doing like the quotes and all of the proposals, and if you're making something with a presentation, or you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to spell their names wrong. You don't want to assume names. You don't even want to honestly start off assuming the orientation of them. There's gay people that get married, straight people that get married. So you will never know what's coming to you. I have planned 2 gay destination weddings, and that might be your personal preference of whatever you want to do. But just know it happens. So be prepared to just get the full name. Don't assume anything. Their contact information. I highly suggest only having one contact with one person. Be careful. Don't get stuck in contacting several people. It will confuse you. Ideal dates. You need at least an ideal date for the wedding. You have to have some kind of date for the wedding because we have to confirm with the resort or the cruise that it is available. Cruise wise, there's only so many dates that they can do. Resort wise, there's only so much capacity that they can hold for weddings. So you don't want to plan your wedding the same time that somebody else is, because that's a full resort and that's going to be real complicated. The type of wedding that they want, you need to know. Is it symbolic? Is it going to be the ceremony? Or do they have certain requirements? Is it a religious wedding? There's several different types. You need to ask. Local and destination, honestly, pick and choose how you want to handle that. I only do destination weddings. I've never planned a local wedding. I've always just done destination. So really just comes down to what you're comfortable booking. You don't have to book everything. Not every client is meant for you. So you need to figure out what works well for you. Ideal budget and the max amount that they want to spend. Always get the max amount on weddings, because people, no matter how rich they are, no matter if their mama, the daddy, whoever's paying, will always have a max budget. And I want to make sure I never reach it. Travel protection. I highly recommend getting travel protection because you never know what can happen in a wedding. And you don't want them to lose out all of their money because they're going to be putting deposits down left and right. So travel protection is a must. And then you want an ideal guest list. I don't ask for names or anything in the beginning, but I do try to get an ideal number, because a lot of times that I've had a lot of inquiries for destination weddings. But the problem is that they'll come to me and they'll be like, I want an $11,000 wedding, but I have like 75 guests. Okay, first of all, most resorts max out around 60 to 70, so relax. Second of all, are you sure even those people are all going to come? Like, you need to qualify these people. Are we sure that they're actually all going to come? Third, I just want you to know part of your budget goes to feeding these people and seating them. So you need to make sure that's what you want to pay for, because $11,000 normally doesn't cut, right? So be prepared to be honest with your clients, because you're going to run into that a lot. I have had to literally, one time I just set the realist expectations, like, hey, I can plan this wedding for you, but I just want you to know it's going to cost more for what you want. You either have to chop down some of the list or the requirements or just something in that, because it's not exactly always played out that easy. So be prepared to have those kind of conversations. Additional pre-qualifying questions. Why do they want the specific type of wedding? A lot of people do a lot of religious ceremonies, so you need to find out behind that so you don't offend anybody. Find out how involved the couple wants to be in planning, handling all the details. You need to find out if there's somebody who's very hands-on, if they're laid back, if they just want to be updated. Find that out way in advance. See who's contributing to the budget. They may be the main factor in the decisions. If mom or dad or parents or grandparents, whoever, need to find that out. Have they looked online and what did they find? What are the must-haves for the couple? See if they have any requirements. And what type of guests do they have planning on attending? I'll talk more about it as we go. But when you're planning this type of wedding and you're planning like a cultural wedding or a religious wedding, you need to make sure that it matches with the resort, because it can really affect how they are dealt with when they arrive. A lot of like Mexico resort, they're open to LGBTQ, but they also have some resorts that are just like straight Catholic ceremony. And especially like in Europe, there's certain requirements. Like, I'm just telling you to be aware of where you're sending people. Don't just send them somewhere because the deal is great. Make sure it actually works for them. Long story short, okay? Typical items included in the budget. I want you to keep this in mind, because when they're giving you their budget, they're giving you normally the total price. So, wedding advising planning fee, if you're charging it, put it in there. The venue, the ceremony, the music, photography, video, flowers, wedding cakes. Typically, if we're planning destination weddings or cruises, the stuff like this will be included. So it depends on what package you choose. And we'll talk about that later on in a couple of days, the next couple of days. But most of it here is what people pay for in a wedding. This is what they expect to pay. They expect to pay catering, the decor, the stationery, the transportation, the hotel. And a lot of them expect to have their honeymoon also involved in that. So you need to find out what they expect to be provided in their budget and what they need for their wedding. Different services you can offer. Get paid for your work. So now a lot of times I will do a fee sometimes if I have to plan a lot of guests and it's overwhelming for me, and especially if they're back and forth. I will charge a fee for booking guests. I will add it as a fee if I notice it's a really big wedding and they need like 30, 40 rooms. You can add a fee for it. Okay, that's technically a planning fee for coordination. If you save the dates, if you do invitations for them, you could charge them. We're independent contractors. We can make money off of any of this. And things like this can actually set you apart as a travel advisor who does weddings. You do something like extra cool for the client, they will come back or suggest you, for other bookings or weddings, or maybe they'll book their trips for you. Like how you handle this is really going to help set the fourth path for your business, especially because they will do a review. They'll do a review for you. If it's great, they'll do a review. So don't play around in this setting. Make sure that you stand out from everybody else. So coordination, save the date, invitations, bookings, obviously do the commission for that, research, or you can even go in and create a group on social media for the wedding. Then you can go in there and do the invites or, just different things that you can offer them. And also, I think something that would be kind of cool is maybe setting up like the wedding registry for them. There's different things that you can do and you can charge it as a package. Like if for this amount, I'll do all of this for you. Okay, just giving you some ideas. Let's go. Typical services of a wedding travel advisor. We help set the budget. We assess the clients in determining what their budget is and allocate the funds appropriately for different aspects of the wedding. We determine the guest list because we're going to probably be booking them. So we need to consider the guest count and how it impacts the venue, the catering, and the expenses. We need to help them choose the venue. Inside of the resort, you have venue options. You're going to make sure that package aligns to what option they want, because the package can sometimes determine what venue they can choose. And it's a crucial decision because that's where the wedding happens. So make sure they like it. Booking wedding couple and guests, of course, you can prepare prices, plan their stay if flights are needed, then book their accommodations or reserve even a hotel block just by calling or talking to Archer and doing like a group contract. So keep all of that in mind. We can also help create a timeline so we can make sure everything's done effectively. This will be done a lot too, but like when you guys do booking the resorts or booking in cruises, typically it will already have a destination coordinator on site, and it's a planning coordinator, I guess you would say, and they plan most of the wedding. Like we just contact them, we keep in contact, and then they will contact the bride too through email. So we just follow up and stay in the loop if you want to. It's not a requirement, but it sure looks nice and makes the client feel like you're taking care of them. You can manage the details, handling invitations, decorations. You can do the favors and send them out. There's a lot you could do, and you can get paid to do all of this, by the way, too. Sure the elements align with the overall wedding. Provide emotional support. That's a big part of it. That's why I'm saying charge a fee, because we're providing a lot here. Don't provide it for free, okay? They expect to pay a fee too, so don't get crazy with it. Charge what's reasonable, but I always just consider it what the work I'm going to do. Offer emotional assistance to couples dealing with their wedding-related stress. Serve as a supportive advisor throughout the planning process. All right, now the booking process. All right, so here's the first setup of how we normally would do this. Regardless if it's a resort, cruise, it doesn't matter, local. This is just a general booking process as a travel advisor when you're booking weddings. Of course, you're going to have your initial contact form. I would honestly probably get one that's different from my initial one. Interested in booking weddings, like if you really want to go out and make it something separate from your travel, you need to initiate that. If you want it just to incorporate it, put it in your job form, whatever, or make a separate job form just for weddings so you can ask all the extra questions. Send a questionnaire. Once I get the contact form and I see the idea of what they want, I will respond with a bunch of questions that will help me determine what wedding they really want, or maybe I'll call them like a consultation. Maybe I'll split the questionnaire. We can just talk on the phone. But I always try to write down exactly what I want because I don't want to forget. And I also like to write down while I'm on the phone with them. So everything that they're telling me, I don't have to remember it. I could just write it down. Then you want to start the proposal. You're going to research vendors, ask additional questions, put, a couple of results together that would work for them, and then send the proposal. Of course, once they accept the proposal, you'll collect the deposit. Most wedding venues and cruises will require some kind of deposit. When I did the one for the cruise for Royal Caribbean, she actually went and got a Royal Caribbean credit card and then put the whole deposit on there. And I thought that was pretty cool and smart because she was going to pay for her wedding, but she wanted to not pay it up the front. Cool, put it on a credit card. So they have options like that too. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, after you get that set up with the deposit, you want to check in. They like the proposal. Reach out, make sure that the date is available, draw up the contract. You need to have a contract that's separate from the proposal because there's a lot of parts of this. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to put your contract. Talk to your legal, talk to ChatGPT, talk to whoever you want to, but get up some kind of contract that kind of protects you so that they just don't leave you hanging. And that's why we also suggest charging a fee too, so that you don't get left hanging because this is a lot of work. So suggest a contract. Next, you have to make sure that there's a group block and you need to go ahead and set it up. Try to get the one without the requirements for the deposit or have the deposit available and let them know that there's a deposit and any of the contracts that they need from the vendors or the resorts, etc. They need to get all of that set up. And then, of course, make sure that the contract gets sent to the client. Now, we don't always do this one. Sometimes we might be a part of it, especially if it's a group contract for the room or like flights or something like that. We might be a part of it, but a lot of the times the resorts will do it too. Now, for cruises, you first need to call and verify the availability for the wedding because they only do so many. Then you have to book the room, and then you can book the wedding. They don't book the wedding without booking the room first. They won't mess with that. So get the room taken care of. Now, once you get approval, you're going to begin the planning, get the deposits and execute the room block, getting clients in touch with the on-site coordinator if there's one, and then keep in touch with your clients and plan any details that are agreed upon in the contract, like if you charge any extra for invitations, anything like that. Make sure you get that set up. Now, this works a little bit different for a destination wedding process. Typically, you can plan a regular wedding within 9-12 months, right? And that's the same for cruises. You don't really need that much availability, but a destination wedding process typically can be anywhere from 15 to 12 months. I've seen it even longer. Some people are already planning their 2027 destination weddings. It's because it sells out very quickly. That's what it is. Especially if it's on a weekend or on a holiday or near a holiday, it's going to sell out very quickly. So make sure that they have plenty of time to plan and make sure that it's available. I'm not going to read through all of this. It's the same process, but if you plan on doing destination weddings, screenshot this so you can have it, just to help you with the first couple of ones so you can get comfortable with it, okay? But this is just basically the setup of how to book a destination wedding. And we'll talk about more of this tomorrow. We're doing destination weddings, and then on Thursday, we're doing cruise weddings. So we'll go into details. Now, very important stuff right here, booking tips. Make sure you're to put your planning fees in the contract. Don't leave that out. Don't surprise them with it. Ask them how involved they want to be. Get a group contract from the vendor approved by Archer, okay? It says right here, this is straight from Travel Cafe. Do not sign group hotel contracts directly. Send it here for review. Always email them here before signing. And then air has to be a minimum of 12 passengers, must go through Archer Travel. And they have a group air request quote form that you can put in there in the Travel Cafe. Do not book directly with the airlines because they will go in there and they charge a fee. So there you go. You can also add a fee to get paid, and there's no commission attacked in. All right, so that's how that works. Now, I want to tell you too, the biggest role that we play a lot of the times is being a listener. So be prepared to do that. Get open questions and take notes. If you are really serious about wedding planning, get a brochure and some prices ready. They like to look at packages a lot. So I always tell when you guys come to me and you're like, I'm doing a wedding vendor booth. What should I do? Get you one of those binders, put about 6-7 packages together of different resorts, different cruises, whatever that they offer. They have them already put together. You just have to print it out. Put it in there, put it in one of those little cover sheets, show them that. And then also, if you have any vouchers, offer them a voucher for their honeymoon. There you go. They're going to book with you every time. That's it. Do not give any suggestions during initial consultation. Oh, yeah, don't do that. You put your foot in your mouth when you do that. Don't just listen to them, because sometimes we think, as travel advisors, we think cheap. They're not thinking cheap. It's their wedding. It's a different setting. So let them talk about how big they want to go, and you just listen. And then include in contract how many consultations you plan on having before the wedding, or they're going to be calling you 5,000 times and wanting to meet every week. Don't do that. Tell them that when you want to meet, set up dates, times, whatever you want to do in the future, but just don't put it in there. Contact me whenever. Nope, nope, nope. We don't want that, because they'll be blowing you up all day. Now, after you get done booking, of course, make sure you send a congrats and a welcome email and have questions prepared always before your consultation, so you know exactly what to ask. Lastly, how to get started. I'm going to be honest with you. You can't just start selling weddings without any knowledge. You will mess up. You have to sit down and really do some industry research. You could easily start just by going through the wedding websites. There's one site that I think is actually another travel advisor, but I always use them anyways. I don't care. But it's called destinationweddings.com, I think is what it is. And they have all of the updated information. And honestly, when I first started learning, I used to go inside there all the time. They also have, it's called DWHSA, Destination Wedding Something Association. They have a certification. You do have to pay for it, but I thought that was pretty cool, so I've done that before. There's just a lot. The wedding industry is huge, and there's always room for more people, so don't ever think that it's saturated, because it's really not. And wedding season, typically, people start getting engaged from December to February, and then they start planning their wedding after. So it's a really good time now to sit down, learn enough, start marketing, and then people are going to start proposing. So you have plenty of time to learn. And then, of course, get certified. There's a lot of certifications that you can do in Agent Universe. Travel Leaders Network has them. Agent Academy has them with destinations. And then the vendors themselves will have wedding specialist programs that you can go in and learn about as well. To succeed as a wedding advisor, first must have excellent communication and also organization skills. They are absolutely crucial. Building a strong network of trusted vendors, maintaining a good reputation for delivering memorable weddings will help attract more clients. Remember that each wedding is unique, so being flexible and creative is essential in this field. Absolutely. That's the best advice that I can give you when you first start. Just keep pushing it, and always make sure you're pushing the same thing when it comes to weddings, and they will gradually come to you. They really like to look at wedding packages. I'll tell you, that's one of the things that I get the most views on when it comes to weddings. I'll just put together a wedding package off of Hyatt, is one of my favorite sites actually. I use Hyatt a lot because they pay 10% for destination weddings. So I take all of their packages, I'll put one together, add VAX, add a hotel and a flight, a little resort stay, and sell that as a package. They absolutely adore those. They get over thousands of views. So you guys can definitely do something like that to help bring in clients. All right. So that is all I have for you tonight. If you have questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will be heading over to my studio. But before I do so, make sure you guys like this video. If you like today's content, make sure you like this video. Comment below. Let me know that you liked it. And as well, I will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. PST. We'll be right back here where we're going to be doing Destination Weddings 101. So I'm going to take a deep look in all things destination wedding. So make sure you guys join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. PST. Now I'm going to head over to my studio and play some music for us. So if you have questions, feel free to ask and I will respond in the chat. If not, I will see you tomorrow.